Oh my God, it's funny and kind of annoying sometimes, to be honest, that I'm being invited by life more and more and more to actually embody one of the teachings that we hear so much, which I'll get to. And I've realized, and I've shared this too, that for most of my life, because of all the symptoms that I've experienced related to my health, I've done everything I could to avoid the discomfort. And it's been a non-stop, everyday learning journey for over a decade now. And one of the things that I've actually been chasing the most is just relief from the pain and the annoyance and all the stuff that comes up with all the symptoms that I've experienced. And to be honest, the main one, which I shared recently, I've wanted to heal the erectile dysfunction so that I wouldn't need to keep facing all the very strong emotions that come up for a man when we experience that. And it's been all the diets you could imagine, all the fasting, dry fasting, and combo, and all the supplements and protocols, and all the things you could imagine. And it's funny because in some ways there's also a truth of like, I'm actually very curious about like the human potential, right? People sometimes might be like impressed about things that I can do, and they have no fucking clue about what's going on in my body and like all the things that I experience. And I'm like, wow, like what would be possible for us if we were like in optimal peak health? Like that's fucking amazing to explore as well. But the reality is that I've just wanted to avoid the discomfort and all the digestive stuff and the fatigue and poor sleep and not being able to sleep at night and all that stuff. Like those are the things that sometimes we just try to run away from, right? And the teaching that life has been bringing to me so much lately is to actually sit with the discomfort. And as corny as it might sound, because we hear it all the time, but the funny thing is that I've noticed in my life, I might get inspired by a teacher or a friend or someone or a mentor that shares that. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna sit with my emotions. This time I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sit with them and just see what comes up. And it's funny that doesn't really last very long, to be honest. And I go through cycles. And even though I recommend it, and it's what I do in sessions for clients, and it might be what I recommend to clients or friends that ask me for advice, is not something that is easy for me to actually implement and embody. So sharing it feels good. And I love actually what Catherine Hausch, she shared on one of her podcasts. So let me backtrack a little bit. So even like the theta healing that I do, which is based on what's going on for someone, we actually go very deep to the root and find like the subconscious beliefs that are linked to the things that they're experiencing. And we release that, we shift the beliefs, and we release a lot of energy related to who it might be connected with, it. Mother, father, or sibling, or someone from childhood. Like we release a ton of energy and shift a ton of stuff. And I love the teaching that my friend Barrett taught in his last class, which was fucking epic and life-changing. I'll probably add the link to my bio so that you guys can check out his website. He has incredible classes. Where he said, no matter, you can do the most next level command to just like release everything, but the universe still wants to experience that. So I actually had a friend and a client recently where they were like, I thought we kind of like cleared all that and this and that. And I was like, yeah, well, but this is an interesting perspective and a teaching that life, the universe, God, still wants to experience that through you. And it's an interesting perspective. Maybe we release 95% and then 5% is like, no, you're gonna feel it. You're gonna face it, okay? You're gonna face it. There's no modality that's gonna help you get away from having to face it. Like, that's why we came here. And it's a very interesting perspective. And then Catherine Houch shared that even in the GNM world, which might actually be one of the most holistic approaches to healing, I call it actually like beyond holistic health. Oh, I like that. Beyond holistic health. Even in the GNM world, people are like, just help me figure out what conflict this is related to so I can just fucking get this over with, heal it, release it, and I don't have to face this discomfort anymore. And actually, one of her teachings, which I love, is that with German New Medicine, it's fascinating and extremely life-changing to find out what the conflict is. But the actual gift, the blessing, and the initiation is taking the action to support your body in not perceiving that situation as a threat anymore. So taking that action could be, depending on the conflict, it could be maybe eventually quitting your job and actually following your passion, or having a job where people actually treat you well. Maybe leaving relationships and having relationships where people treat you well. If you're really hard on yourselves, maybe also working on the deeper roots as to why you're so hard on yourself and starting to shift that. And shifting things, whether it's boundaries in relationship, whatever it might be, but that's the actual initiation. Like GNM gives you the guidance and maybe the starting point and the direction which you want to head into, because now you know what your health experience is connected to. But that doesn't take away from us the initiation of taking the steps required to change whatever's going on. So I actually forget what the point of the video was. I can't remember what the point of the video was. But maybe, yeah, it's that idea of sitting with the things. And here's a beautiful perspective too. It's like anger is angry that you're avoiding sitting with it. Frustration's frustrated that you're avoiding it. Sadness is sad that you're avoiding it. Think about how the emotions that you're avoiding feel about. That's actually a technique that a lot of modalities use. How does your emotion feel about the way that you're interacting with it?